always been curious, Coach. I mean, how do you handle your losses? Because sometimes when I see you after the games, after a loss, I'm scared to say hi to you when you're upset. Like, what goes on in your mind? Like, how do you get over it? How long does it take you to kind of regroup and focus on what you want to accomplish? And maybe fans, they've always asked us to ask this. What do you tell guys in the locker room at times?
Well, first of all, I take losses hard only because I always feel like they're my fault. I always feel like I didn't do something. I didn't prepare our guys right. I didn't give them the right game plan. And the danger with a coach is that, you know it's your fault, and then you want to lash out and put it on somebody else. It's a natural human reaction, and I used to do that a lot when I was a young coach. I would lash out at the players, and I would go home and go, gosh, it wasn't even their fault. It was my fault. A couple of things I've learned about locker rooms is that after losses, I don't say much. Very rarely do I say very much. I get moving and go on. I didn't do that early in my career. Again, it's just something I learned as I got older and hopefully wiser. But, I don't say much after losses. I might say 2 or 3 words. There'll be a rare time where I might explode just because it might have been an effort issue. But I rarely ever say anything about effort. I just expect it. I don't say it. I don't talk about it a lot. I think that can be a frustrating thing. Guys think they're playing well. Playing hard, and coaches tell them they're not. And then they get frustrated because, okay, now what do I have to do to play harder? Okay, I'll shoot more, or, I'll drive to the basket more, or, I'll body up on my man more and get a foul, and that's not what you mean by playing harder. You want to make, and I think that can be a frustration level. So it's not something that I focus a lot on. Like I said, I just expect effort. It's just something we expect all the time, and we work on it in practice, and we talk about it a lot. But I really don't really talk that much about effort, very, very rarely. And I only talk about it in terms of collectiveness. It's collective effort. It's not individual effort. I might be mad at one guy over there on that side of the locker room that he didn't play hard tonight, or he was non-focused or whatever, but I'll never point him out. I'll just say it to the whole team that we didn't play hard. Because if one guy's not playing hard, then none of us are playing hard. And that's my philosophy. And so going back to your question, I take them hard, but I again, something that I've learned to do, I used to come home and not sleep till 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I just couldn't sleep. And I'd get a book, I'd try to read, whatever I could to take my mind off the game, but it would never work. But again, I'm older, I'm wiser, I've learned that moving on is probably one of the biggest skills you can have in athletics and sports, basketball especially, but in all sports, is the idea of moving on. And that's what Phil Jackson preaches. And I learned that, I think, more by reading about Phil Jackson. He always preached about the idea of, I'm really good at moving on. That's what he would say about himself a lot. I can move on. And so now I move on better. I'm still angry, and I want to be angry for a while just to make sure that I'm keeping myself in the right frame of mind. I don't want to take anything easy, but I also know that I have to move on. And I've been better at getting our guys to move on. And I think that's why we've been more successful in series and championship series, is the fact that we've been able to move on. I remember that championship series we had against San Miguel, where we went out and blew them out by like 38 points. And then the next game, they came out and blew us out by 44 points. And then the next game after that, they came out and blew us out again by like 28 or 29 points. But we were just talking about, that's done, it's over, it's past. Any other team, I think, would have just kind of folded their tents and gone away with 2 huge blowouts like that. But then we turned around in game 4, and again, we hardly talked about that loss. We just said, we're just going to throw it away. We didn't look at the video. We just going to turn around. We're going to come back and play the next game. And we came back and played the next game, and we blew them out. And then game 6, I think, was like a 3 or 4 point game, which we won. Sorry, game 5, which we won. And then we blew them out again in game 6. And that, that was an incredibly talented San Miguel team. Just kept saying, if we're not ready, they're gonna embarrass us. We have to be ready. And it was true. We said that from the beginning of the series. And we came out ready the first game, and they weren't ready. And then we thought we had their number, and then they came out and blew us out. But it was the idea that series was successful because we were able to move on. We were able to move on and focus on what was in front of us. We always say, focus on what's right here. We ask our guys to put their hands in front of their face and look at the little lines in their hands. And when you do that, that's what you're focused on. Nothing out there. You're focused with what's right in front of you. And that's one of our teaching tools.
And if they're stubborn, do you smack that hand to their face? but I've seen you sometimes coaching a game where you just get so upset and you basically almost stop coaching. And like you let your assistants coach. I mean, what's when you do that? Is that to send a message to your players? Sure.
It's like, well, if you're not going to listen to me, then listen to somebody else. I've gotten to a point where it's kind of like, what's the term? I can't think of the term all of a sudden, but it's, you're no longer getting the return anymore. It's you're not getting the refocus. So it's kind of like a shake you up. This is really bad. It was an analogy that I used when I was younger, and it's not a good analogy anymore because it's not it's not socially appropriate. But I used to tell my players in the old days, and I hope nobody writes about this, but I used to tell my players in the old days that when I scream at you or yell at you, or I'm trying to get you to, I'm really trying to get you to focus in. And it's like, in the old movies in the 1930s and 40s, again, you're too young, but there'd always be a scene where the girl, there's some pretty girl, she's beautiful, and she's like, they're in danger, and she's like she's breaking, and then the guy turns around and slaps her. And slaps her. He goes, oh, like that, and it kind of like wakes her up. She goes, oh, and he goes, that be calm, take care of yourself. And then finally, she's like, this, okay, I'm fine, and that's what I tell her. It's like I'm slapping you across the face, trying to wake you up and trying to get you shocked and get you refocused. And so there are certain techniques that I do. I mean, I wouldn't call them techniques. They're more reactions that I do. I have to apologize to like Richard all the time because I just say to Rich, you do it, Rich. And he's like, what? Oh, okay. Totally unprepared. He has no idea it's coming. All of a sudden, he's got to be thinking, boom, right there. Okay, now what do I do? And he's incredible at it. He is really incredible at it. And
okay. Well, I hope you don't get into
such a great coach. I tell you.
Yeah.
Warning on Coach Paulo Layud for delaying the game. Technical foul on Coach Anton Altamirano for resentment to a call. Coach Charles Chu out of the playing courts. Coaches Unfiltered. No refs, no techs.